when we went to the Everyman Cinema, and I fell in love. Don't ask me why. I've got a door fetish. Sue me. But I saw the Everyman doors, and I'm like, yo, when we were talking about the concept of this room, and we was like speaking with Emma and Martin, who own Penthouse, about how we can make this happen. Does it work for them? Does it work for us? I was like, I want an Everyman Cinema door on it. I'm sorry. I do.
I love the vibe at the Everyman. That's kind of where the vibe from the SwingHub rooms came from. I think it's like
Hear me
really...
Hear me out. Hear me out.
What we're hearing out?
Listen to this, right? Do you want to buy an old cinema? Because, you know, it's got like the corridors and different like rooms for like the cinema rooms.
Yeah.
But then each room's like a different theme. It has its own bar, different style music, different style playrooms.
Should we buy a cinema?
What are you saying? Are we doing it?
Can we just buy Everyman? Because it's already done how I like it.
Everyman's quite big, you know. It's quite big. It's quite big. Because I remember when we went to Lincoln, when you were like absolutely howling at me. I was like, this is a quirky little cinema. You know, I could get behind this. And you was like, Gage, you absolute fucking idiot. These guys are everywhere. They're huge.
Yeah, Everyman is everywhere in quite big cities, I think.
Yeah, Everyman dem's everywhere. I think what I loved about the Penthouse room was that I'd come out with these like little quirky little I didn't even actually put any thought into it. It was just a random thing that I spurted out, and Amy and Nathan literally jotted it down to make it happen. It was like the gold mirrors in there. We'll talk about Penthouse first, of course. The gold mirrors, I was like, I'm fond of watching myself look in the mirror. You know, we've got a TV at the end of our bed. I like to look at myself now and again, pounding the poon.
Giving them back shots.
You know,
it does look hot when you can see it. Like
the poon arm is coming.
It does look good when you can see it through the mirror.
Mate. Yeah. So it was like the gold mirrored tiles.
Yeah.
But then you was like, oh, let me just take a drink out of this SwingHub cup.
I don't know how you can actually drink out of it. I have to put my straw into mine.
That is the best cup I've ever drank out of. Oh my God, available at swinghub.com. Shameless plug. But we, and you was like, no, I'm not going to just have basic mirrors. You want smoky mirrors.
I wanted smoky mirrors because it just gives that softer effect. And I think sometimes when you're fucking, I think we are the worst for it. Yeah, it looks hot, but you're like, oh, I don't like this. I don't like that. I don't like that angle. Oh God, like my skin, like I look really pale. So I think when there's like the smoky mirrors effect, it just softens it and it just, everybody looks really frigging hot in them.
And then we went with the soundboarding. That's what it's called, isn't it?
Yeah, like the acoustic paneling.
The acoustic paneling.
We needed to buy that in bulk.
Holy shit, didn't we ever? Because I think also that can be pretty timeless as well. And we know these clubs won't change for the rooms that we put in there, won't change for a long time. So how do you keep it modern?
Yeah.
Because, you know, let's say orange is an in-fashion colour. Orange in 3 years' time is going to be like, ugh. But soundboarding, it is timeless, right?
It looks really good and really clean.
And it has lights up here and, you know, we got beds. I don't think people know how much effort we put into this. We did a behind the scenes from our Vintage Hollywood talking about the Purple Mamba room, but the height of the bed, that height actually came from a ladder on a wall, didn't it? Do you remember? Because I was bending you over the ladder.
Like, how tall do you want this bed? We were like, and then I was like, oh, just bend me over.
Bend you over, and I was like, yeah, just like there. So like where my dick is, just put it like there, and that's how we got the height. So it is literally built for me and you in that sense. We are selfish, aren't we?
Scrap everybody else.
Hey,
anyone that's over 6 foot and anyone that's under 6 foot, it's not for you.
small kings out there, hear me out. I didn't do you dirty, all right? We were on a time limit. I don't do measurements. Yeah, so it just went off my height.
Just be selfish.
Yeah, even the foam hardness, it's like
To be fair, there is a step up.
We all need a step up now and again in life. My God. Give me a fist bump, my guy. That's what we're talking about. But we, even the hardness of the mattress, like you didn't want it too hard, too soft. You just wanted that right level where it's comfy. You can. There's nothing worse than like a hard foam, and you can't get that bounce. You know,
it's just nothing's there.
There's nothing
it's
there.
Just...
You need that spring back and bring that poontang back on me, girlie. You know, you push down. It's like now, come back.
I feel like we might have to do a tally of how many times you say poontang on this podcast today. Is it the word of the day?
No, it's not the word of the day. I just didn't want to go really far and go, your vagina, darling.
But yeah, we are super, super proud of the rooms at Purple Mamba and Penthouse, and we appreciate them for giving us the opportunity to
man.
kind of
Thank
like
you, Penthouse and
collab.
Purple Mamba. Thank you.
And I hope they really enjoy
They've had our backs,
the rooms. They've had their backs.
And I feel like they've had our backs, and we've kind of gone, thank you. Here's this room from us. And I know it's driving a lot of traffic to these clubs. People do travel just for the rooms. I know membership has gone up on both ends for Purple Mamba and Penthouse. But just quickly switch to Purple Mamba quickly. We had a little extra, didn't we?
We did.
Bro.
We did.
Little voyeur,
a little
thing.
I think my biggest pet peeve when it comes to clubs and if it's an open orgy room is people congregating around the door.
Can you blame them though? You're fire. You're a hot commodity.
That is like when you're like trying to see or if something else is happening. I'm sure I can't look over. I'm like have to sneak in. So it is, especially when you finish playing in an orgy room and then you look up and you're trying to get out of the orgy room and there's all these people around the door and you're trying to squeeze through and you've just been like being watched by them basically. And I think that's where the idea came from, didn't it? Like
yes,
at Purple Mamba.
And the point was kind of proven when we did Vintage Hollywood at Purple Mamba because people were using the orgy room and there was a lot of people looking through the window, but the people in the orgy room can't see outside. It's a one-way mirror, right?
Yeah.
So you see yourself like...
You can see yourself
going at it.
I'm
trying to think of another word instead of poontang. But, you know, and you're like, well, you feel more better about yourself because you don't have all these eyes because you just see yourself. But from the other side, you look like a freaking porn star because you're like looking over and you're giving it the old,
Well, and Amanda and Chris, they really love like their erotic art in the club as well. So I think it's like now a wall full of art, like erotic art, and then in the middle is this live sex show basically that's happening. And I was like, it's a live art wall.
Yeah, because I was like, imagine putting a chip and pin machine, you know, listen, right, hear me out. It was a stupid idea and I've recognised it. Idiotic. But you know that like frost stuff that you can get and you can turn it on and off on Windows? I was like, imagine putting like a chip and pin machine on there and it costs like 5 pence. Like nothing mega.
So it was like a little peep show.
Like you just go
peep show.
Or just press a button and it goes boom and it lasts for 30 seconds.
But Nathan and Amy would have killed you if you was adamant on that because they struggled in the first place to do the window, never mind a little peep show window.
Yeah, and that was just an off the cuff like, oh, it would be good if you could have a window because you've got the waiting area. And I thought it'd be really good for like newbies just to not be in a room or feel like they're intruding, but to actually be in that, you know, the upstairs area where they play all the Jenga and stuff and just see what's going on because
happening.
Obviously all the other rooms are more like private, but the orgy room's the orgy room. But we made the bed bigger. We give it more play space. We even hid the aircon behind the wall.
Nobody knows where it is.
Everyone's like, Gage, how do you hide aircon behind a wall? I'm like, listen here, young blood. So the soundboarding, what happened is that Amy and Nathan took out the black foam that's behind it and then replaced it with a black like metal mesh. And put that up across the wall and obviously made it all secure and whatnot. But there's an aircon unit behind it, so when it blows through, it blows through.
You're like, oh, because it does get really hot at Purple Mamba, especially in the summer.
Yeah, you will be absolutely going to Pound Town, and the next minute you feel like you're in a Madonna music video and the hair's like blowing, and it's like, oh my God.
Rather than a hot, sweaty mess.
Yeah, I'm terrible when I get hot. I need to talk about that. I'm sure I'm not the only one, but yeah, but apart from that, thank you, Penthouse. Thank you, Purple Mamba, for trusting us with one of your rooms in your beloved clubs. I know it's worked out great.
Yeah, and I hope they just enjoy it for a few years to come as well.
Absolutely. And listen, if there's any other club owners out there, or if you know a club owner that wants to work with us, we are open for business, my guy.
You said we weren't doing any more rooms.
No, it's fucking expensive. But we are open for business and we can talk about it and have a nice cup of tea and talk about a room. We can do that. Of course we can.